Hi, I'm Craig from Mountain Race Shop. I got asked the other day about, do you need aftermarket suspension to go riding or racing? And of course you don't. You can put up with whatever you've got, to be honest with you. But it just depends on, really, it depends on what sort of performance you're looking for from the bike. So when we're talking about the standard KYB Showa WP shocks, which is what most of them are, that group of three, I suppose, really, is quite capable on a motocross track when it's have a set of springs into it, and more so the Showa and KYB stuff needs a little bit of a revalve to tidy it up. The WP shocks on the motocross track are actually fairly good, to be honest with you. I do just tidy up the shim stack when I do those shocks. It's not a radical change by any means. It is just really just a tidy up. Those WP shocks do benefit from a Kashima coated body. There is a lot of friction, a lot of stiction in them, and the anodizing is garbage, to be honest with you. So certainly in that regard, you can get away with riding, certainly at club level, with a stock shock that's a set of springs in it, and just tidied up in the revalving way, for sure. Once you start trying to go places, you need to start spending some money. Okay, so if you're, for example, certainly a B grade rider, or B grade racer, I should say, and certainly an A grade racer, you need to send it away and start, spend some dough on it. And I'll be honest, the most cost-effective way is an Olin shock, or the upper market WP stuff is pretty good, to be honest. I don't recommend going to a track style shock with a dropout if you haven't ridden with one before. If you can, or if you're thinking about going that way, my suggestion would be to go and see if you can find someone who has one, and let you ride out of it for a couple of laps, because they do feel different. The dropout facility on it does feel a bit weird to some people, and certainly with the older ones, and up to 23, probably 50% of the ones that I sold would come back and they'd ask for the dropout to be disconnected. So save yourself some heartache, I suppose is the way to put that, and go and have a crack at one first off before you go and put money in a track shop. There are a few other options on the market for different models. Lena do one, Enzo does one, and so on and so forth. So they're not, it's not like you have to buy an Olin's, for example. If you want to stick with the KYB and with the Showa stuff for whatever reason, then my suggestion is to get a Kashima coated, just to get rid of friction, stiction, so on and so forth. And that takes some time, so that is best done at the end of the season. You bike someone, or if you've got a spare shock, for sure, because the only place that does Kashima is in Japan. Okay, so reality is it's a week there, it's a week back, and it's probably a month sitting there while it gets cleaned and sits in the lock and all that sort of stuff. So you're looking at 4, 6, 8 weeks to get stuff Kashima coated. There are places that do exchange stuff, for sure. Grab one of those. It's just no skin off my nose. I'm not trying to push it on anyone by any means. Just give it options certainly WP is easy because we can just change the body, the shock body in most cases, keep the shock head and all the internals, and just slip it straight into a new body. So when we're talking about forks, there's a couple of options you can go. Obviously, pardon me, sorry, if I just go back to shocks. So you can obviously get shower kit stuff. It's not cheap. I don't know if there's a benefit to spending that sort of money, to be honest. Certainly you need to spend some coin, don't get me wrong, but 15 grand, which is going closer to 16 grand now, on a set of shower forks and shock A-kit stuff, versus 8.5-ish depending on model, for a set of Ohlins RXF 48s and a shock. There's a big saving there, and I don't know that there's another 8 grand's worth of performance over an Ohlins. That certainly anyone can pick up. There is, don't get me wrong, A-kit stuff is nice, but I don't know if there's $8,000 worth more over the cost of an Ohlins, RXF 48 fork and a shock, TDX shock. Again, there's a couple of different options you can go with that way. You set Ohlins cartridges, for example. Lane cartridges, there's plenty of options out there. DeSagios, and everyone thinks I hate DeSagios, and that's incorrect. I just don't see the point in paying that sort of money when I have to revalve them before I put them in customs bike. That's just the way it is. So when we get to forks, as I said, there's RFX 48 Ohlins, there's Ohlins cartridges, there's DeSagio cartridges, there's DeSagio forks. There's Lana cartridges, so on and so on and so on and so on and so on. One thing I will say is that you will see KYB A-kit stuff advertised. It doesn't actually exist. There is no A-kit that you buy from KYB. It just comes out of the race catalogue, and I understand that people put it together and sell it as A-kit because of the marketing, more so of the shower A-kit. Okay. What comes in a KYB, or what would come in a KYB A-kit, the internals are actually just stock KYB stuff. In fact, you'll find that most pros in AMA run stock pistons, stock KYB pistons, I should say, in their forks. But you do get coatings and so on, which is very nice. Is it worth the money? Well, it's getting up there. It's putting you into the territory, if not more so, than a set of Ohlins or a set of DeSagio forks. So that's probably the half answer to that. So do you need it? If you're a C grader running around trying to learn the craft and having fun and riding at an M-Cross, for example, no. Spend your money on tyres, practice, tuition, whoever the coach is, and put the money into that to get you better. If you're running B grade, A grade, yes, you certainly have to spend money on whatever it is, on forks. And the easy way about it is to throw an aftermarket shock in and an aftermarket set of forks. Okay, and so for that you need to budget somewhere between 8 grand and 16 grand, just depending on what flavour fork you want, or shock you want. But as I said, I really can't see the value for a privateer in shower A-kit stuff at the price that it is. 8.5 grand for the Ohlins or DeSagios or whatever. Yeah, I can see the value in that. It makes life a lot easier. over the stock stuff, and some stock stuff will never get to the performance of that aftermarket stuff, whatever brand it is. I'd like to see Lena come to this country. I really would. Can certainly get it, but there's no distributor here, so it's all, you've got to carry everything yourself, and parts and all sort of whatnot for it. And I'd love to see K-Tech, I really would, do an off-road fork or cartridge, and I think they've started that with the fork for the 10RA. I think is the way that they're heading. It's certainly a market that they're not into, and I think they can go into that. I think they do good work and good products. But certainly, the definitive answer is, if you're a C grader, get a set of springs, change the oil, new tyres, all that sort of caper. If you're trying to go places, then you need to spend some money, and that money is probably something north of $5,000 if for a set of cartridges at a shop, and starting around the $8,000 mark for a set of forks and shock for your bike.